Que lo que, mi gente? This your boy Rick Diesel. Y regresamos to another episode of the MIGO Experiment. We have someone special today, all the way from somewhere that I find close to my heart, República Dominicana, and also a DMV native, Rauli V.
Que lo que, mi gente?
Rauli V, what's up, baby?
How's it going, man?
Que lo que, papá?
It's been quite some time. I know we've been talking about this shit for a minute.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we've been talking about doing this for a while, man. You're very hard to catch, man. You're always busy, man. Like, very hard to get in touch with you, man. What's going on?
I'm sorry, man. Listen, between releases, music, and just helping out, the family and everything like that, I've been just having to kind of slow my roll and prioritize, but at the same time, I'll make some space, man, so I could be blessed with folks like you.
No, thank you. Every time I call you, you want a flight somewhere in the studio. Every time I call you, yo, I'm writing a song for somebody, I'm producing. So Rauli, man, let's get into it. First of all, who are you? Who is Rauli V?
Sheesh.
Just so the people can know, where you come from. Yeah. I want them to know, where did you get the name Rauli V, and where did you first start?
Now, I guess I'll start off with my name, man. Rauli comes from my middle name. So my middle name is La Raulis. I was named after my great-grandfather on my mom's side, right? His name was Raulín. So when I was born, my mom was like, yo, hay que llamarlo Las Raulis. When I started doing music in like a solo capacity, I kept thinking a lot of dialogue and conversations I was having with my grandma, right? And my family, and specifically my grandma, she calls me Rauli. And she's always called me Rauli. And since I was a kid, when I first started doing music, when I bought my guitar for the first time, she would always tell me and give me that kind of guidance and give me hope. When I wanted to name myself or rebrand myself, I already knew Rauli was the way to go. When I say it, when I write it, when people call me it just makes me remember my grandma. As far as me, man, I was born in Manhattan, in New York City. I came here to the DMV area before moving to DR. And then after that, my dad was like, bro, hay que arrancar, vámonos de aquí, que yo me muero donde yo nací. Y arrancamos para Santo Domingo. And I stayed there until I was almost 18. And then after that, like, como mi mamá estaba aquí con mi hermana, llegó un tiempo que mi papá dijo, oye, tú te tienes que ir. And now I'm here. Wow.
It's like you summarized your whole life very quickly. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. What inspired you to get into music? I mean, what was that like? What was that calling that you said, okay, I don't do music, now I want to jump into this?
The first time it happened was when I was a kid, when I went to DR for the first time. I didn't have any friends. I kept getting picked on and bullied because I sounded too American, and to Americans I sounded too Dominican, and I was always going un corre siempre.
Right.
And my first outlet was getting a guitar because I saw there was a lot of people get it there's a lot of people being friends that were in bands that were musicians.
Yeah.
And at that time I was also into basketball. And when I got into seventh grade, I was like, bruh, a mí me encanta la música. And also seeing how the kids kept getting taller, I was like, bruh, déjame irme por aquí. But when I got into the music and I got the guitar and shit like that, I didn't know what I was doing, but I kept doing it. I kept doing it blindly. And every time I kept doing it, I kept enjoying it. I started learning scales. I started learning how to use my ears and regurgitate music. And I was heavy into rock music at the time. But that was the first time. The second time, though, and the reason why I say this is because I'm a guitarist first, right? I started playing guitar first, and I was introduced to being a singer, being a rapper, being that front man, I want to say maybe 5-6 years ago. And it was right around the time, I want to say it was maybe a few years after my grandmother passed. And I used to front a different band before, and on tour was when I found my voice. And, just like everybody else, I sing in the shower, I sing in a car, things like that. And people would always tell me I always knew how to find the melody, or it was easy for me to find harmonies and stuff like that. And then eventually I just said, fuck it, let me just do it. And through the pandemic, I started building confidence, mainly in the Latin realm, because I already had the rock edge in me, right? So I already knew what people liked, how I sounded, right? So I knew what to give them, right?
Right.
But during the pandemic, that's when I kind of had that rebirth, and I started pouring and pulling from my Latin urban heritage, being Dominican.
Okay. But hold on. Can you talk to us a little bit about the touring part? So you went from falling in love with music while you were traveling to DR. DR made you fall in love with rock, and I guess your passion for it was just kept growing to the point where, how did you find yourself from DR coming to America? Then you're on tour.
Yeah.
That little bit of time. What happened there?
Rock isn't really the biggest thing. It's still underground in Dominican Republic. That's where I got into it.
Right.
And the dream was always joining a rock band in America and going on tour. So when I first came here, the first thing I did was find a rock band. And I joined, I think I ran through like 2 or 3 different rock bands. Wow. And at the same time I was dealing with like racism. I was understanding how much people care about, like your skin tone in this country. Right. To me, it didn't really make sense. For me, I was like, I just want to find the rock heads. Coincidentally, it was all the white boys. Right. When I joined all these different rock bands and shit like that, I was always coming in as a guitarist. And the first band I was in, we did a few like regional tours and it was okay. The second one was like a neo soul band. We added some go-go and I was introduced to the DMV go-go scene, right? And then the last one was really where we took off and we started taking ourselves seriously, and we toured from like, for a good like 4 or 5 years professionally, right? Like we supported a lot of good bands that inspired me when I was a kid. And I was able to go toe to toe with people that I admired at one point. And then to your point, I flipped from touring right before the pandemic to, hey, let me fucking try the Spanish shit. Right. And to be frank with you, man, it was about due time, man. I missed my culture, right? I missed my Dominican people, right? And to be frank with you, even though I've always had homies that were Dominican, tú sabes cómo son los dominicanos. Uno escucha el acento y ya sabe, este es de lo mío, right? Sí, claro. So eso siempre estaba ahí. Pero lo que yo siempre hacía antes, que yo dejaba el lado mío rockero por un lado y el lado dominicano por otro. Claro. Y yo lo quería ligar juntos.
Yes. Y así fue que tú comenzaste. That's how you started in DR, I'm assuming, right? You're a rock artist out there, you're singing in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure they're probably singing some songs in English, but you with your crew, right? Entonces tú vienes para acá para Estados Unidos, you get into the American scene, and now you're like, man, something doesn't feel right. Yeah. I want to get back to how it all started.
Exactly.
That's the flow, man. That shit is dope. That's real dope, man, honestly. So, okay, so how long have you been making Latin music a priority in what you're trying to do?
Oof.
In what you're doing right now?
Maybe a year.
A year.
Maybe a year. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still fresh in it, right? It's like, I'm happy though, because if it wasn't for everything I learned on the road, if it wasn't for everything I learned in the rock scene, I would have never been able to perfect the way I sound when I flip over to Spanish the way I do. But I've never had the confidence until last year. During the pandemic, I created a YouTube channel where I was doing reactions, I was doing covers, and I was doing that just to, because some of it was because I was scared, to be honest with you. I was like, I don't know what the hell I sound like. I know people are gonna like it. I know people know what they like how I sound when I do this, or are they gonna like that? Right. So that was my way of like, hey, let me just sneak this in there to see if people like it, and people started fucking with it. Like people started liking the covers. They started getting to know me through my reaction videos. When I was doing like Bad Bunny reaction videos, when I was looking at like there was like some Ozuna stuff, there was some like Anuel stuff, and I was doing all these reaction stuff, and people started to see that I was also funny and wanted to kind of vibe with me. But that's like where I started slowly doing it. And now with the circle of people around me, now I feel unstoppable, to be frank with you, man. And now I'm excited for what next year comes, because no one's heard any of it. I mean, like I've added some ad-libs here. I've dropped some Dominican slang there on some of my rock, emo trappish songs, right? But they've been 98% English. So for next year, that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, I'm excited too, man. You've been showing me some stuff behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Now that you tell me a year, I'm kind of like, wow, that's surprising. It really is surprising. Rauli, dog, like, I want to ask you about your Latin influences, man. Like, okay, so combining your rock music into the Latin world, there has to be some artists, it doesn't have to be new artists, that have inspired a bit of that fusion, if I'm mistaken. Yeah. Who would you say is an influence to that?
For me, off jump, my biggest Latin influence has always been Nomad.
Mm.
I mean, you've heard me, right? Whenever I start tracking, I'm loud.
Yeah.
I'm super, super loud.
Yeah.
That's the part that even as a kid, when I would like try and sing and stuff like that, I was like, damn, I'm way too loud, bro. And when I started singing, I was like, rock, I'm probably never gonna be able to graduate from rock. Because rock, they want you to be loud.
Right.
The louder, the more passionate, the better,
Yeah.
right? And then when I started going back to the roots of what I liked when I was a kid, Don Omar always was there, right? And his tone is he has a rock tone. He's very loud. You know, if you go back to any song, right when he jumps in, it's like, hey, llegué yo. You know what I'm saying? It's like automatically, it's like someone cranked the volume up to like 12. So para mí, todas las canciones de él, it could be the loud Jones, it could be the soft Jones, like Angelito vuela. Angelito vuela. It could be the soft Jones too, but he was the person that every single time he put something out, yo estaba así esperando él.
Yeah. He demands attention with his voice. As soon as he starts singing. Yeah, for sure. Man, I mean, that's what's up. So Don Omar, you say Don Omar is the top, or nobody else?
No, I mean, I'll say in that capacity, Don Omar, I was always a fan, of course, of Calle 13 too, of how like when he came out with his group before he went solo, right? Like that whole vibe and what he was all about, how his lyricism was, it was like catchy but funny, but he was saying some real shit underneath.
Honestly, I thought you was gonna mention him. Because he's one of the rappers that doesn't look like a rapper.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't wear the rapper gear. He's just tats and everything else that doesn't mean what he's doing, but he's rapping and doing rock and fusion and his music with different countries. Like he's on a different level.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna say that. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. But those two, I would always go back and forth. Of course, I love my Tego Calderones, right? Of course. I mean, that's duh, right? Yeah. Especially like I told you, I was a guitarist first.
Yeah.
So Tego, I would always call Tego un bachatero. Porque en la bachata, lo que suena más la guitarra. Uno escucha una guitarra, ¿verdad? O como empieza la guitarra, la canción. Right. Desde cuando empieza con la guitarra, uno... Fuck, esta es la canción, right?
Yeah.
Tego, cuando él comenzó di tan tan tan. When I heard that joke, I was like, ooh, and I never forget. Yo estaba en un concho en la capital cuando cayó métele sazón, batería, reggaetón. Métele sazón, batería, reggaetón. Que los demás lo pone Calderón. Que los demás lo pone Calderón. Like I remember, yo estaba en un concho y el tigre que estaba manejando subió el volumen. I was like, con mi mochilita, en camino para el colegio and shit. And I was like, mierda, esta canción está coño, está pero esta canción, okay. But yeah, but though I would say like a vibe of all that.
Yeah.
And of course, like if I had to say new people, I'm not gonna lie. Of course, just like the world, that Bad Bunny's been just changing it up. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, when he started putting a lot of his rock blends in there, like folks like myself, at times you need un artista que está en ese nivel. Hay que meterle algo así. Sí. Porque ahora dicen, mierda, ahora yo puedo ver donde la vaina tuya puede caer.
Sí, es verdad.
Y eso le abre la puerta a los artistas como yo.
Es verdad. Y tú sabes que Tego Calderón antes era salsero. ¿Tú escuchaste eso?
No.
Él era salsero y también cuando él manejaba un taxi en Nueva York. Eso era antes de él ser Tego Calderón que se metió para el reggaetón. Él era salsero primero. Y parece que eso no le cuadró y dijo, déjame meterme a un reggaetón, una vaina urbana. ¿Tú me entiendes? Porque eso es lo que lo llama a uno.
Claro.
¿Tú me entiendes? Uno viniendo del barrio, uno viendo lo que pasa en lo que ocurre en los barrios de uno, in the hoods and stuff like that, and the different places that you've been to, DR and New York. That sound like a lot of hoods.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I can only assume that, rapping and even hip hop and Latin music is, as much as the rock music has just engulfed you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
¿Qué más, bro? Bueno, vamos a hablar entonces del tema. Vamos a hablar del tema que tú estás promocionando mucho en Instagram, que eso está loquísimo, eso parece como una película.
Gracias, loco.
Ok, ¿cómo se llama el tema y por qué le diste ese nombre?
Enemigo.
¿Por qué enemigo? tienes un par de enemigos. Tú tienes muchos enemigos.
Yo tengo un par de enemigos. No muchos, no varios,
Okay.
pero par. Yo tengo un par de enemigos. Y te digo, si tú estás haciendo la cosa bien, tú vas a tener enemigos también. Porque no todo el mundo va a estar para ti.
Es verdad.
Y desde cuando tú te pones claro y te pones bico, que ya tú sabes que esta gente no está por ti, pues dale para adelante y ya. ¿Tú me entiendes? Entonces, esta canción se llama Enemigo porque cuando yo la estaba escribiendo, yo la escribí hace como casi un año. Tengo que escribir esa canción y la escribí con la vocal que lo empieza. I don't know if you saw on the Instagram post when I was like, yo, like the way I belted out this vocal, the yeah. So, a mí me llegó una noticia mala, ¿verdad? De cuando yo estaba escribiendo esa canción y shout outs to Matty Beats. He's the producer on that track.
Shout out Matty Beats.
And you know, he sent me the file, he sent me the track. La estaba escuchando y yo, mierda, coño, ¿qué yo voy a hacer en esto? It felt right, and I was gonna put the song out later. Like there was like maybe 6 tracks that should have came out before this jump, right? And I got a knock on the door, and to be frank with you, I ended up getting some news of some people that I thought were close. Like I was close with them, right? And in that news, I realized that I wasn't as close as what I thought, right? It was some shit that hit the fan, some shit that I thought que ya estábamos claros, que todo el mundo estaba en la misma página y todo eso.
Right.
Y parece que no. Entonces, for me, at that time, it was at the same time, like I said before, I used to be with another group, and I was at odds with them as well, right? We were on different pages. We weren't moving and running the same speed, right? So, you know, these are some folks that I spent a lot of my time with, right?
Okay.
These last few years, going into debt with them and going on the road with them, right? And a lot of those relationships were severed along the way. And I would be lying if I said it was done the right way, right?
Wow.
But when those relationships were severed, it also had like a ripple effect. Porque a la gente le encanta los chismes. Entonces, fulanito le dice fulanito, este y el otro, y todo el mundo se cree el pendejo. Entonces a mí no me importa nada esa mierda. Por mí, si están para mí, están para mí. Si ellos saben que la relación de nosotros estaba así desde el principio, they're gonna be rocking with me. And if not, vete bien con Dios, ¿verdad? Entonces, en ese momento, I just screamed, bro. I just screamed. And,
como un desahogo.
Dude, así como que me estaba curando, como que estaba montado.
Sí.
And I just started screaming, bro. And the first thing that came out was that yeah. And it felt like almost like creepy-ish, like eerie, you know what I'm saying? And the track was playing in the background. And I wasn't even paying it. I was just pissed. And in that moment, I was on record. And I was like, oh shit, this is actually pretty fucking dope. And after that, the song was written the same exact fucking night. Yeah. Like, all the words were the same. Everything was tracked. And then I sent it to my engineers. Y ellos hicieron lo que tienen que hacer. But that song, bro, I was angry.
Sí.
You know what I'm saying?
Sí.
And yeah, but the song's called Enemigos. It's about, you know, just like I said, when you have folks that you think are family, and they turn into your foes. Yeah. Right? And the biggest line for me that hit home is, I'm in the sea, full of my foes and enemies. You see what I'm saying? Because I can't even swim.
Right.
So if I'm in that fucking ocean with you, it's because I figure you're going to give me some life support.
I can't swim either, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Hey,
we need some life support.
Hey, we going to need some life support, you know what I'm saying? Pero con eso dicho, si tú estás en la agua, coño, y tú no puedes nadar, tú estás en esa agua porque tú estás confiado que esa gente que están ahí contigo te van a salvar.
Yeah.
And for me, that line, it's even as crazy as that sounds, like talking about I can't even swim, right? But that's how deep it went for me. I was like, bro, you know I can't swim, and I'm in this ocean with you because I gave you all of my trust.
Right.
And I realized too late that I'm in the sea full of my foes and enemies.
Damn.
But yeah, so that track comes out this Friday, the 11th. If you haven't pre-saved, pre-save it. If you're waiting till the day it drops, wait till the day it drops and stream it. But definitely, if you fucking rocking with me, check out Enemigos.
Oh, no, it's dope. It's fire. It's fire. So, man, Enemigos, the title is in Spanish. Is the song in English? Is it in Spanish? Is it Spanglish?
It's Spanglish-esque.
Okay.
All right, so
okay.
it is primarily in English.
Okay.
The hook has some Spanish parts. There's some Spanish ad-libs, right?
Yeah.
But the song, you would consider it more of an English song.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
It's kind of in that vein of like kind of like an emo trappish kind of vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Has a lot of rock and grunge and punk influences, but the 808, you'll still be feeling that thump all the way through.
Yes. So you as an artist that's coming into the Latin lane, right? I'm assuming, is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
You're artist coming into the Latin lane. What other styles are we gonna be getting from you? You know?
Yeah.
Aside from the rock, because that's what Enemigos is, a rock song, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like rock, a little bit,
yeah,
a little trappish in it.
Trappish in it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, but as far as what's coming out, more feels like this. But to be frank with you, like we said earlier, talking about that Latin shit, you know, yo voy a pegar con un par de reggaetones. También va a haber un dembow más bueno que el diablo. You know what I'm saying? Que tú sabes cuál es esa. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Que tú la has escuchado.
Yo la escuché mucho. Yo la escuché mucho.
¿Verdad?
Toda tu música.
No, pero hay par de dembow, hay par de reggaetón que van a salir. Y hay par de vainas suavecitos también, como que it's like Latin ballads, right? Donde yo estoy mezclando un poco de rock, como par de la cuerda y vainas así.
Sí.
But I give it el saoco, you know what I'm saying? I give it, you know, el ñan, you know what I'm saying?
Sí,
el dominicano, you know what I'm saying? El swag.
Sí.
So, en ese caso hay muchas diferentes vainas así. Y también tengo una vaina que es rock, pero el tema entero está en español. Y ese se llama, y eso te lo digo, ese se llama Te Boté.
Yeah.
Ese yo lo toqué en vivo las últimas 2 veces y a todo el mundo le encantó.
Wow. Lo que más me gusta de ti, mano, que yo te veo y te escucho cuando tú me tocas música, porque tú me dices, te voy a tocar este tema que es un rock. Y todos los retos son rock. Tú me tocas temas de diferentes géneros. Y eso me encanta. Tú eres como un artista súper alternativo, que de repente tú me sales con un merengue y ya cuando terminamos escuchando con un trap y después un dembow y un rock, una balada aquí. Pero me encanta eso porque tú no te puedes quedar encajado. ¿Tú me entiendes? Se ve como que si tú te aburres de una rama, tú dices, ok, vamos a hacer otra cosa diferente. Que eso ya yo lo tengo cansado. Yo creo que la gente se va a volver bien loco cuando te estén escuchando a ti en profundamente tu estilo o todos tus estilos, que tú tienes varios diferentes, mano. Varios diferentes. Y también cómo te vistes también. Tú eres, oye, loco. La gente lo que tiene que saber más de ti, por favor síganlo, Emma, Rauli, dile a la gente dónde ellos te pueden encontrar a ti en social media, por alrededor del internet.
So, a mí me pueden encontrar en @RauliVmusic en todas las plataformas, en Spotify, en Instagram, en TikTok. O también, para hacértelo más fácil, tú le das a RauliV.com y eso tiene toda la vaina mía.
Está seteado tú, RauliV.com. Ya ustedes saben, mi gente, síganlo en RauliV.com, síganlo en Instagram, denle like a TikTok, un tigre súper profesional y chévere y bacano. Yo me llamo Rick Diesel, ustedes me pueden seguir en Instagram también. MIGO Experiment, por favor, la gente, denme un like, comment, subscribe y denle a la campanita ahí mismo también para que queden, so you can get the notifications for the next episodes or whatnot. But ya ustedes saben, mi gente, MIGO Experiment, Rick Diesel, Rauli V, thank you for having us in the studio today. Hey, it's a pleasure.
Thank you for coming, dude. I know it's been some time and we finally made it happen. So I appreciate you coming through.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Ya tú sabes, mi gente.